I'll give you the truth why I'm not Speaker. It's because one person, a member of Congress, wanted me to stop an ethics complaint because he slept with a 17-year-old. An ethics complaint that started before I ever became Speaker, and that's illegal, and I'm not going to get in the middle. Did he do it or not? I don't know. But ethics is looking at it. There's other people in jail because of it. And he wanted me to influence it.
That was Kevin McCarthy, which that clip is quite relevant nowadays. That was back in the spring, talking about why he thinks he was ultimately kicked out of his job as Speaker of the House. And given the release of that ethics report on Matt Gaetz today, this really does feel like some sort of bizarre full circle moment of some kind. I mean, McCarthy's exit paved the way for Mike Johnson, who now finds himself on pretty shaky grounds, ahead of another vote for Speaker in just 11 days. Brendan Buck is a former senior advisor to House Speaker John Boehner and House Speaker Paul Ryan. Annie Carney is a congressional correspondent for the New York Times, who I've known for a long time. I'm sorry I butchered your last name. And they both join me now. Okay, I want to get into the House Speaker race because I'm so interested in this, and it's very soon. But I just have to ask you, I mean, Matt Gaetz floated the idea of running for Rubio's seat. Is this a real thing? Could this happen? I know you're not the spokesperson for all of the Republican Party, but help us understand.
I mean, Annie and I were just talking. I don't know that you can rule out that he won't get reelected to something. I mean, all of this was hanging out there for a long time. He very easily got reelected in his district. I mean, by wasn't even close. Republicans, especially in this era, have sort of embraced this idea that you're always a victim. There's always somebody out to get you. It's very easy to point the finger at somebody else. You give him a couple of years, you let this blow by, it would be very short-sighted to assume that his career is over with. And this is insane to say. This should be something that very clearly
ends
any career, but I don't know that you could say that these days.
What? I mean, could it be as soon as Rubio's seat, which, assuming Rubio gets confirmed to the Secretary of State position, could be in a couple of months?
Well, so he won't. I doubt he'll be named the replacement.
Oh, he'll be named, right? But he could run.
Somebody else will be named, and he'd have to challenge whoever the sitting person is. I wouldn't put it past him trying.
I mean, he's always said he wanted to be Florida governor, but I'm with Brendan. I mean, it would seem like this would make him dead in the water. But truly, the release of the report gave us a lot of details. The broad outlines of it, as you in the clip you just played, Kevin McCarthy gave them to us last spring, and he was still nominated to be Attorney General in the Trump administration. So, I mean, we've known the broad strokes of the allegations against him. Just because DOJ didn't bring charges does not mean he was fully exonerated, as he claims. It means they didn't think they could win a case. So, I mean, he hasn't it's not good. It's not like I think he's going to rise quickly now, but I'm not comfortable counting him out.
Yeah, so there's an appointment. He won't be appointed, you're right, but he could run in a couple of years, which is crazy things. Okay, let's talk about the House Speaker race. Last week was not Mike Johnson's best week of his life, I assume. It seems, I mean, I talked to Leader Jeffries about this. He seems to think he's in a bit of trouble. I think others are saying that privately. What do you think?
Yeah, it's hard not to look at it and say that he's probably not going to get it on the first round, which we saw 2 years ago when Kevin McCarthy did it. Look, in some ways, this is of his own making. He clearly botched the end of the year plan here. His whole idea was, I just want to do something non-controversial, a 3-month funding bill. That's all I want to do, and just get out of town so that it's easier right before my vote. For whatever reason, he felt like he had to open up the store, add a bunch of things to it, and it all fell apart. The problem for Mike Johnson is going to be the same problem whoever the next speaker is. It's not about the speaker. He has a bunch of members who refuse to accept anything that is really achievable. And anything that is achievable, they won't accept. And as long as that's the problem, and he's said it himself, good luck to whoever can get 218 votes, because it's not about the speaker. It's about the members right now. So, yeah, it sounds like there's enough people who are probably going to, if not kick him out, get something for it, just as they did with Kevin McCarthy.
Do you think the same thing?
Yeah, this is always the problem. There are Republican members who control his fate who do not vote for spending bills. Mm-hmm. Therefore, he has to go to Democrats to pass anything. And therefore, he has to make compromises with them, which makes it worse. And you end up with the kind of bill that is just anathema to everybody in his party. And that's how you end up here. This is the same thing that Kevin McCarthy did, kind of having to dance between appeasing the hard right and then having to go to Democrats to get votes for must-pass legislation. And it's an impossible position for any speaker. I talked to Johnson people earlier tonight, and the best kind of version of his position right now that they can come up with is that only one Republican member has said, I will not vote for Mike Johnson. I will not call out his name during that speaker vote, and that's Thomas Massie of Kentucky. So far, only one is on the record saying, I'm not there. He can't lose more than like 2, I think. The math is very bad for him, and there's a lot of other ones still waffling. But they're taking it as a positive that despite everything, only one member is on the record saying, I'm not voting for Johnson.
There has to be an alternative, too, right?
Yeah.
Somebody who can get the vote.
Not necessarily. They put Kevin McCarthy through all kinds of pain on the floor.
And they could put him through pain.
And there weren't that many who had said they were going to vote against him the first time either. That was a surprise how big that number got. So this is not theoretical anymore. We saw this 2 years ago. And I mean, it was the first time we'd seen it in 100 years. But they've run this play before.
That's the other thing. Like, I remember how many stories I wrote a once-in-a-century floor fight 2 years ago.
No more. Can you write that?
Now we're just
once
like
Congress.
Like now we're like in a very normal floor fight for speaker. I mean, it seems like the idea that he would get this on the first vote seems
and he doesn't have that
hard.
much of
And then how many can you go? I mean, it could be another week-long.
And he doesn't have that much of a goodwill in the conference. He's relatively new. It's not like there's a bunch of Mike Johnson guys. There were a bunch of Kevin McCarthy people who were willing to almost literally have a fist fight on the floor with Matt Gaetz over this last time around. There aren't a lot of Mike Johnson people who are probably that passionate about him. I think he'll probably get there, but he'll have to make some promises that will make governing impossible again, and this cycle will continue. And who knows if he'll even last it.
Well, this will be what we are talking about come the new year, and hopefully you guys will both come back and talk more about it, because this is like, if people aren't paying attention to this fight right now, this is going to be front and center in Washington in about 11 days.